from Google Play Store, which will avail you the platforms of the newspaper, television, online, and of course the radio. We're available on all these platforms to serve you. We're on Radio Garden and on social media platforms where our content is streaming as well. Right away, Dr. Boa, what is your assessment of the progress made in the educational sector in the last year, 2024, across all levels?
Thank you very much. We want to appreciate God for the new administration we have on board, the administration of Tinubu, and perhaps the administration of our very own Reverend Father Dr. Human Hyacinth Alia. Significantly, progress has been made in the education sector as compared to other sectors also. We have seen a lot of improvement in the area of teacher training, in the area of teacher recruitment, in the area of teacher welfare, in terms of salaries, prompt payment of salaries, in the area of clearing of arrears, of earn allowances, or stipends of people or workers in the education sector. In the areas of infrastructure, we can also see some level of improvement with the current administration in the last year. And with the kind of percentage that was allocated to education last year 2024, and with the one that we're expecting this year, 2025, I believe strongly that we are going to step up. There is going to be a very much improvement in the education sector this year. That is what we are expecting as educationists or expecting as stakeholders. So we want to appreciate God, and we are hoping that it will be better even this year as compared to last year. So for my assessment, the current administration is putting in her best, and we believe that they will do even more this year. Thank you.
Okay. While we believe that more could be done, let's look at the current challenges facing the education sector, and what are the areas you would identify, particularly, well, maybe if we should reflect on the last year, the gaps that existed.
Actually, always as a recurrent DESMA, we have always been having the problem of underfunding. Funding of education is a priority. It is very, very important. And until education is properly funded, if not, all other factor inputs will not make so much meaning. So we're still saying that much needed to be done, or we need to do more in the area of funding, because it has been a problem. Even though some amount of money has been earmarked for that sector, it is still inadequate. We need funding. We need funding for infrastructure. We need funding for instructional materials. We need funding for upgrade in terms of teacher payment. Remember, we have new minimum wage now on board.
Yes.
And teachers need to be given the needed money or payment of salaries as compared to other sectors of the economy and all whatnot. So the problem of funding is still there, and our current government just have to do something about it. Apart from funding, in the area of teacher training is another very, very critical area. Education, the quality of education in Nigeria or in our state cannot go beyond the quality of teachers we have. The quality of education is para pursuit or synonymous with the quality of teachers or manpower we have on ground. So that area too must be considered. Teachers must be trained. Enough teachers must be recruited to make up in areas of lack or inefficiencies or inadequacies. So retraining and training of teachers is very crucial. It's an area that we need to look at. It's an area that we need to factor in so many things to help grow the sector. Another area of concern too that we have to look at so as to improve a lot of education in Nigeria and in Benue State in particular is the area of infrastructure. I mentioned it when I was mentioning finance.
Yes.
But I'll still emphasize that infrastructure is very, very key. And how can you engage students or admit students in the school, either at primary, secondary, or tertiary level, and then we have inadequate classes for them to sit, or inadequate classes to accommodate them for proper teaching and learning? It will not work. What about water? They need water. What about electricity? They need electricity. What about other infrastructures like internet services or facilities? They need it because with the current trend, with the digital space now, if education is to thrive, most especially in Nigeria, we must be up there. ICT is key. And when ICT facilities are lacking, they are not there, it means that there is a problem. So these areas are very crucial, and I believe that if government will look into it, it will help us. Another one very crucial, just before we move,
Yes.
is policy. Policies. Educational policies are guidelines. They are principles. They are typically fact assumptions that guide the direction of education, helping stakeholders in the education sector to set goals, clear goals, so as to achieve them at the end of the day. So our policies must have to be looked into. And how? Educational policies in Nigeria, I want to state categorically that they are good. They are good policies. But the issue is the issue of implementation. The issue of implementation. So we have issue of implementation of educational policies, and it's an area that we need to look at very closely. And I want to say that for us to overcome or take over, or for us to subdue problem of educational policy implementation, the regulatory bodies must have to function effectively. Thank God in Benue State currently, with the current administration, with the current creation of Quality Assurance Bureau, they have started in the right direction by trying to regulate, monitor the quality of education services offered to Benue State citizens. So if they will continue that way or in that direction, under the leadership of Tena Francis, if they will take that, if they will move to quality, then I want to assure you that most of these policies that are very good already on ground will be implemented, and education will be super, insofar as the Benue State government Benue State is concerned. This is my take.
All right. Let's look at the tertiary education sector, for instance, where you belong to.
Yeah.
It has been argued that the tertiary education sector in Nigeria is fraught with a lot of challenges. Yeah. What are some of these challenges that you can readily point out and maybe ways of resolving them?
You see, tertiary education, especially the university education at the tertiary level,
yes,
will function effectively when they are given the opportunity to be autonomous. That is autonomy, university autonomy. Be able to take decisions, able to sit and decide on what is good for the university administration, and then implement as such. When that is done, university administration or university education will be enhanced, and a lot of goals that are earmarked for the tertiary institution, most of the university, will be achieved. So we have problem of autonomy. So if that problem is looked into, it will help both administration and the teacher segment, that is the lecturers. They'll be happy and they'll be able to put in their best if this is taken into cognizance. Another area is the area of infrastructure. The area of infrastructure. Let me tell you, most of our tertiary institutions in Nigeria, and even in Benue State, if we go to their campuses, I want you to understand that some of the infrastructures we have on ground that we can even beat our chest and boast with came in as an intervention from TED Fund. So the question is, if TED Fund was not there, with the state or federal government, or with those stakeholders who are, challenged with the mandate of administration, effective administration of tertiary institution, would they not make provision for infrastructure apart from the intervention of TED Fund? I remember this TED Fund came on board as a creation, a fight, an intervention, you understand, a struggle of ASU to make sure that tertiary institution is giving the need, most university is giving the needed attention and the needed quality that it deserves. So that area of infrastructure is very, very key. Another area is the area of welfare. Yes, tertiary institution welfare, most especially that of teachers or lecturers. You see, I want to tell you that the payment of salary of lecturers at the tertiary institution, most especially at the university level, It's not good. It's poor as compared to other universities or other lecturers across the globe. It's very, very poor. Some people sometimes feel that when you are called a professor and you are lecturing in the university, the kind of amount of money you are receiving is so huge, not knowing that what a lecturer collects as salary is infinitesimal. In short, in most cases, cannot even take you to the market. Sometimes cannot even take you home. It's not even a living wage. You understand now?
Yes.
It will surprise you if I pronounce the amount of money professors who are the highest ranking individuals in the university system are collecting. You'll be surprised. It's unfortunate. So the issue of teachers' welfare, more especially salaries, must be taken into cognizance. Now we're talking about minimum wage. What about the tertiary institution workers or lecturers? Will this be consolidated in their salary? And if it is done, will it be done reasonably so that their welfare will be taken care of and they'll be able to put in their best for quality education in Nigeria? And so many other things that we need to look at. What about the problem of student administration? In tertiary institution administration, we have issues of, courtesan, we have issues of indecent dressing, we have issue of sexual harassment, we have issue of, corruption, or can I say, sorting by students and all that here and there at the tertiary institution level and all that. All these are issues that we need to look at because, they water down, they dilute the quality of education that is supposed to be offered at the level of tertiary institution. So it's very, very important for us to look at. When these issues are taken good care of, tertiary institution will be okay. And so we need to look into. If today, court members, who are typically members of our students, will decide to disrupt activities of the school, the calendar of the school will be distorted. Infrastructures will be destroyed. Lives will go, and so many other things. So it will cost us more harm than good. Today, if students are harassed, if lecturers are harassed, sexually and all whatnot, the tertiary institution level will no longer be a place for people to come study or acquire knowledge and be able to disperse or dispense this knowledge to the society for societal growth. So it's awful, and we need to look at it critically. These are areas of concern that we need to look at, and many more. Thank you.
Very well. In the tertiary institution where we are discussing, particularly the universities, there is also an argument that government's granting of licenses for the establishment of private universities is meant to weaken the public universities. What is your take on this, and what can be done to address university education, both public and private ones, in Nigeria?
The issue of public and private, most especially the issue of private universities being licensed to operate, wouldn't have been any problem, because the presence of private universities in Nigeria also gives public universities a concern to sit up and do their best, because there is that rivalry, friendly rivalry, competition for academic quality. In short, in developed, countries like the US and the UK, majority of the universities we have on board are even privately owned universities. They are not owned by government, but they are properly run, and the quality of education supposed to be offered to citizens in these developed countries are offered. But the issue now is the regulation of the operations of these universities in developed countries is very high, it's qualitative, it's strict, and there is no compromise. But here in Nigeria, it's a different ballgame altogether. Now, the number of private universities in Nigeria, if care is not taken, I'm not, at the tip of my fingers with the statistics, but I want to tell you that the number of private universities in Nigeria now, if I'm not mistaken, is more than public universities. It's more than. And sometimes these private universities that have been licensed to operate, if you go to their campuses, you discover that it is an abuse. It is a shame. Sometimes just one big building, two-story building, and that's all. And then they say it's a university. University education is supposed to be holistic. You are licensed a university that its campus It's just one-story building or even one block of classrooms, and then it's operating or it's licensed to operate. What are we insinuating? What is happening? What kind of quality education will our students acquire from that kind of a setting? For education to be holistic, it is not only in the cognitive, it's not only in the psychomotor, it is not only in the affective. It has to be all true. The three must come to bear for effective or quality education, as far as education at all levels is concerned. So by the time you have just one building and the campus is just about 434 square meters, what about the recreational aspect of education? What about recreation? What about the social aspect of education? What about some other things that our learners are supposed to acquire if actually given the needed environment or provided the needed environment to study? When you go to these private universities, you have a campus that is just about 100 by 300 square meter or feet, and one building is built. So the issue of private university in Nigeria is the issue of regulation. Yeah, it's the issue of regulation. It's the issue of quality assurance. It's the issue of the issuance of license to those private universities that, if before being licensed are qualified or will meet up the criteria that is meant for such, private universities to meet up so as to be given approval to operate. That's why I was telling you that we have good policies, but policy implementation is the issue.
Yes.
There are good policies on ground for licensing private universities. But the issue is, are these policies adhered to? Are they adhered to? If you go to NUC now, those policies are very, fantastic, very good. But the issue is that when these individuals who are bourgeoisies, when these individuals who are very strong politicians, if individuals who are money bags could walk into NUC and could present whatever, maybe even in terms of money and all that, and then at the end of the day, licenses are granted to universities that are constructed by them that maybe one way or the other couldn't meet up the policy statements or policy guides, what would be the fate of our universities? So for me, I have no problem with private universities, but the problem I have with private universities is their operations in line with the stated guidelines and the provision of quality education that needed to be provided by these setups. That is my issue.
Okay, when you talk about the regulatory bodies, for instance, the NUC, NAPTEB, and some of the agencies responsible, what should be the key performance indicators that they should use to measure success of education policies? And would you say they are applying these KPIs?
That is what I was trying to emphasize even before now. Evaluate a school. There are key indicators to look out for. Number one, in evaluating a school, one of the indicators is the quality of infrastructures on ground. What is the quality of infrastructures on ground? The presence of these infrastructures. Number two, what is the quality of teachers or lecturers on ground? And when you are looking at the quality of teachers or lecturers, you are looking at, number one, their qualification. Are they qualified to teach? And if they are qualified to teach, are they teaching those courses that are meant for their areas of specialty or specialization? And if they are qualified to teach, what about the level of training and retraining or training and development that is offered or is made available or that is practiced in that school? Very, very critical. The level of training and development. So you're looking at teacher quality. It's one of the indicators. Are the teachers in such schools qualified? Teachers qualified. It's an indicator. Do you have professors? Do you have renowned professors in various areas? Are these professors been able to present their inaugural lectures or public research findings? Have they presented their research findings in areas in the public domain for public consumption and for economic political growth of the country or of the state concerned? This is the quality of, it's an indicator. If Benue State University now has lecturers that are sound, in areas of need or different disciplines, and they are making their, they are providing their services or making their impact in various areas within Benue and outside Benue State. It's an indication that what is coming out of Benue State University is awesome. It's good. They are doing it. They are making it. So the quality of teachers is also an indicator, and their impact to society. And the kind of caliber or the caliber of students they are turning out as graduates. Very, very important. Another key indicator, apart from teachers and all whatnot, is about the institutional ranking at the university level. The institutional ranking. If we are ranking tertiary institutions, or can I say university institution in Nigeria, where is the place of that university in question? Ranking. Where is the place of that university in question that you're evaluating? Are they ranked the first, second, or third, or they are ranked the 130-something university in Nigeria and all whatnot? So the place of ranking is also very crucial as one of the evaluation tools and all that. Another area of indicator, another criteria or indicator is that of the quality of students. The quality of students. What type of students are churned out of that institution or that university? And what impact are these students making in society? What impact are these students making in the industry? What part are these students making in their immediate environment or constituencies? What part, impact are these students making in the political scene or economic scene? It comes to count. And no, you ask, oh, this man is the managing director of this company. This man is making so much. From where? Which of the university did he graduated from? No, it gives us a clear view of what that university is doing. Or as a practice society is an indicator. Very, very important. And so many other indicators that we look at for. Another indicator is, we look at the quality of instructional materials or instructional aids. The quality of instructional aids. In our universities, what kind of instructional aids or materials do we have? Here, we are looking at, like now, in the digital world, we're looking at interactive boards. Do we have them in our universities? Do universities have them? We're talking about projectors or projecting screens. Do they have it? What about internet services? Do we have internet Wi-Fi, internet services available for learners and teachers to make use of? Very crucial. What about laboratories? Apparatus or materials in the various science laboratories? Are they available, and of what quality are those materials? Very, very important. You cannot be talking about advancement in science and technology in a country where the learners or where the teachers will not have access to adequate, quality laboratory apparatus or equipment. What would they be doing? Is it not in the laboratory that we do our experimentation? Is it not in the laboratory that scientists go through and bring out research findings? So when these things are not available, what happens? Will you be expecting any result from the science angle or technological angle of our economy, of our education? No way. So what quality of laboratories we have in our various universities, most especially for courses that are science-based? And then as a hallmark, what about the quality of library? The library is the center of learning. It is the library that accommodates the materials, both visual, audio-visual, electronic, and non-electronic materials available for teaching and learning in the university or in any schools or education sector. So we'll look at that. The quality of library that is in that university. Is the library with all the needed, materials in different disciplines in the university Do they have the encyclopedias that are needed to be available for knowledge? Do they have the visual and audiovisual section or serious section of the library made available for teachers and learners to be privileged to access and then learn and acquire knowledge that is needed? Very, very important. And lastly, but not the least, what about the administrative prowess or capacity of those who are leading or who are in the leadership of that university? Very, very important. The administrative quality of the university is also an indicator. It is the vice chancellor, the deputy vice chancellors, the deans and directors or heads of department, coordinators of programs. These are all, members of the management of a university. They play their roles in one way or the other. And if you want to look at the quality of, university at play, you are looking at these persons, what they are doing, their output, their input and their output. So, dear listener, I want to let you understand that these indicators are very crucial. And when we want to assess a university, these are the things we look at. So as to look at what the university is doing or offering to society.
Very well then. If you are just tuning in, you are listening to Perspectives on Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM Makurdi. This morning, we are setting an agenda for the education sector in Nigeria. And leading the discussion here in the studio is a senior lecturer in the Department of Felix Boa. And you too can participate, 9292. I take the number once again, 0814-335-9292. In the meantime, the line for SMS, which is also available on WhatsApp, is already activated. You can utilize it to contribute on the program. The line is 0912-699-9404. I take it once again, 0912-699-9404. Kindly include your full name and where you are sending your message from. Log on to our website on www.agateradio.tv.com to listen to us and access other content of Agate Radio as well. We are available on Radio Garden and on social media platforms where our content is streaming. You may also download the Agate Radio and TV app from Google Play Store, which you can access all the platforms of the radio, television, online, as well as newspaper. We are all available on these platforms to serve you beyond boundaries. Join us to be a part of our discussion. Now, Dr. Boa, let's come to the angle of students. And it has often been argued that the quality of graduates, some of the institutions in Nigeria are churning out are unemployable. What can be done to align the needs of the labor market to ensure that graduates of our institutions are employable?
All right, thank you. That is a very serious and very, very wonderful question. Now, if universities or tertiary institutions will churn out students and the students are unemployable, it means then that there is a question mark. There is a problem. Because
But again, yes. Maybe I should have started with, let me have your take. Do you believe that some of the graduates are actually unemployable, ones that are being churned out by our tertiary institutions in general?
Of course, yes, they are unemployable.
Good. Now, that's where to begin from.
Yes, they are unemployable.
Good.
And that's why I'm saying that the question or the worry now is with the institutions that are churning out these students. If a student is not qualified, if a student is allowed to go to an institution without going through the nitty-gritty or without fulfilling, at the point of graduation, it's always pronounced that they are found worthy in character and learning.
Yes.
But the question is, are they truly found worthy in character and learning? What were the processes that they went through? Were the requirement of the various processes or steps that were supposed to go through up to the point of graduation fulfilled, taken good care of? Were they not compromised? And so if they were compromising one way or the other, and at the end of the day, we are giving out students, or we are graduating students, definitely those students, some of them will have some question marks, will be unemployable. And that's why we have issues. That's why we have issues of exam malpractice. Some of these issues that are so disturbing and are working against the employability of our students are issues of what? Exam malpractice, issues of sorting by students for their exams and all whatnot, issues of sentiments of tribe, sentiments of race, sentiments of favoritism, sentiments of I know this, I know that, sentiments of political, gimmicks and all that, and sentiments of family line. When they come to play in the process, definitely, at the end of the day, you see that a student is incubated in that kind of, array of sentiments and is turned out at the end of the day with nothing to offer to society because some sentiments came to play. So I want you to understand that some graduates from universities are unemployable because, the system allowed them. The system allowed them. And they also beat the system by compromising in one way or the other so as to come out and, acquire certificates or carry out certificates that ordinarily would have given them employment and they would have been qualified to work in such sectors, but they're unable to do or to work, or people are not ready to employ them. Now, let me say this. The employability of our graduates is depending on the quality of teaching and learning that we offer in our tertiary institutions or in our universities. And our ability to say no to anything that will compromise the standard that has been set or the standard that has been complied with, regardless of sentiment. When that is done, we'll be giving out or we'll churn out students who are employable, who will know who they are and what they can do and what they can offer. So I want to agree that some of our graduates are unemployable because they cannot give what they do not have. Because they were able to beat the system by whichever way they feel, through exam malpractice, they were not caught, through bribing, through sorting and all what, they were not caught, and so they acquire, grades that ordinarily they were not qualified to acquire. At the end of the day, their results seem to represent a fair play or a fair result, but in the real sense, it was not a fair result. And so they came out with that kind of, what would they do? What can they offer? And another issue is the issue of, what about the system itself, the school itself, the university itself? Do you have the needed, laboratories or equipment to train these students or these learners with? Somebody graduate as a lab scientist, and because he or she went through a university that the university had inadequate lab equipment to train these students properly, and then at the end of the day, the student is graduated. If he or she goes now to open a lab for public use and all whatnot, will it not be a disaster to the system? He'll be unable to do the right thing. He'll be unable to work at par with other colleagues elsewhere in the world. He or she will not be with the current trend of laboratory operations. And so what happens? He's offering an inferior service. He's killing people. You understand now? He's destroying the system, destroying life because of what? The kind of quality of education he or she receives as a lab scientist at the end of the day. So I want to agree that some are not employable, while some who have actually studied, I knew exactly what took them to university, and have gone through the real world, will be able to offer that which they are required to offer to society, and society will grow. Case may be.
How can we move away from overemphasis on certificates in our education system?
Overemphasis on certificate will be overcome if we focus on what we call hands-on learning. What do I mean by hands-on learning? Let learners be trained not just in the theory, but let them be trained in the practical. Let them be trained in the practical, not just theory. As much as we teach the theory, we should also do what? Teach the practical. Let them practicalize what they have theorized. That is the only way that we will overcome this issue of a parading certificate. Let me tell you, in developed countries or in developed world now, you cannot just pick a certificate. I'm a PhD holder and take to the US and you think you just have a job. The only thing that will help you have a job in US, that is a developed country, is your ability to perform. Your practical knowledge of what you claim you have. If I say I have a PhD in educational management, or I have a PhD in computer, or I have a PhD in mathematics, or I have a PhD in chemistry or microbiology, with the certificate presented,
yes,
they will not engage you first. The first thing is that they will test you. They will ask you to do 1 or 2 experiments. They will ask you to perform 1 or 2 activities. And it's only when those activities are performed correctly and with all level of efficiency and effectiveness that you'll be engaged, not the certificate you are presenting. That's why if you go to develop clients now, what happens is that there are people who are there not even with a PhD or so much high certificate, but they are so proficient, they are so efficient, they are so effective in their areas of specialization. So they are giving the world what the world needs. They are not PhD, they are not professors, but what they do is more than what a professor or a PhD holder in an area can offer. So, let us rely more on hands-on learning, rely more on practicals, not just theories, not just parading certificates here and there, not just certificates. Let's see what the person can do, the capacity of the individual to perform a particular task in question should be the main thing, not certificate.
I may be wrong, but this is the argument in public domain that this analogy or example which you pointed out cuts across even the quality of academics we have in our tertiary institutions in Nigeria. To what extent is this true, Dr. Boa?
To be very frank, I'm not trying to demean or challenge, per se, my colleagues in the university education. But the fact remains that some of our colleagues are an abomination to the system. Because of what? They can't offer what they are employed or engaged to offer. And it is because of the result of their background and where they come from and the means through which they were engaged. That's what I'm talking about now. The means through which they were engaged. The platform in which they came on board is the question. Why am I saying that? A lot of universities across the world or across Nigeria, those who are engaged based on political lines, political affiliation, political sentiments. Hey, my brother is the governor, my brother is the commissioner, and because he's in charge of this, sector, he can quickly or she can quickly engage me, give me the job so that I can earn some money. And then that's all. And so they come on board through that means. Remember in the yesteryears when we were coming up as young people or small boys, we knew that for somebody to have a PhD, that person must have been experienced. That person will go through the rigor of studies or teaching and learning. He said, when you are going in for PhD, I remember in those days in my area, in my village, somebody was going for PhD. He was the principal of a secondary school. He went in for PhD at ABU Zaria. As he was studying ABU Zaria for PhD, one of the requirements was for him to go back, as he was studying, to go back and teach with his teachers in the university lecture. He did that for a while before graduating. And PhD in those days was meant for those who were prepared to go into academics and replicate knowledge or impact knowledge. But I want you to understand in recent times, people are going in for PhD studies just to have that 4 words or 4 alphabets, I should be addressed a doctor, a PhD holder. And so whatever means, whatever means, whatever way, whatever thing they can do, they do to acquire that certificate. So as to be addressed as well, doctor, a PhD holder. When you take them to task, in respect to the area they are saying they are PhD holders, they will run away. They can't offer anything to you. And so I want you to understand that some of these persons are the persons that, because of the privileged position of their uncles, neighbors, and father, family lines and all whatnot, they are brought back to the system in one way or the other. And these are the kind of persons that are destroying the system. Because, number one, they didn't plan to be lecturers or to be teachers. Number two, they were not even serious when they were going for the program. They only bribed their way through. And so, because there are no jobs elsewhere, and because their uncles or parents or whoever is in position, now we have that opportunity to lure them into the system. So they are the ones destroying the system. They're the ones destroying the system. And so I want you to understand that if 100% in the university lecturing capacity means manpower, about 2 or 3% are not qualified to be there. And it's very clear. If you want, you can take statistics. If you want, you can evaluate, can assess them. So I want to challenge our universities to, at the process or at the stage of recruitment, these areas must be looked into critically. What caliber, what quality of teachers or lecturers are we recruiting or engaging to impact knowledge on our learners? Very, very important. And then the teachers, those of us who are lecturers teaching at this level, most at the postgraduate level, we must be strict. We must stand on our ground. We must only allow those who are qualified to graduate. Those who are not qualified, who cannot go to the rigor of intellectual activities at that level, let them find something else. It's not everybody that will have a PhD. It's not everybody that will study to that level. You study at the first degree or second degree at most. It's okay for you to look for something to do and give your best. But for those who are, who have the mind to go up the level of PhD, should be those who have the mind to give back to society. Most especially give back to the education sector in terms of teaching and all what. And should be qualified. Should have the passion for academics, have the passion for teaching. And they should have what it takes to give back to the learners for societal growth. That is the only time that the system will become so good and will also reap from the fruits of the labor put in.
If it were within my power, I would have appointed you a vice chancellor to implement some of these things in the university system. But that's okay. It's a prayer.
It's a prayer.
You are still in the system. Dear listener, we'll take a short break. When we are back, we'll start engaging with you. Stay with us. We'll be back after this breather. Welcome back from that short break, and thank you for staying with us on Perspectives. The number to phone in on the program is 0814-335-9292. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, and welcome to Perspectives.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Nathaniel Longo.
Thank you very much for joining us.
I'm so happy today.
Okay. What's the cause of your happiness?
Speaking the truth to the system is what gives me joy. Yes, it's what gives me joy. My name, by the way, my name is Orahi Theophilus. I'm calling from now in my workplace, University Joseph Sawa Antaka University, Makode.
Okay, so are we speaking the truth to Joseph Sawa?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Okay,
yes,
right.
Of course.
Speak to us. Let me not preempt your words. Just go ahead and make your submission.
Yes, the man in the studio.
Yes.
In fact, actually, your prayer should come through. Being one of the university leaders or a vice chancellor position to implement such positions, we pray for that one day.
Thank you very much. Amen.
In fact, he has spoken nothing but the truth in what is happening in our university system. This is exactly what we are experiencing. The one that excites me most is about his colleagues, the incompetencies of his colleagues. Most of them, as he has rightly mentioned.
Let's to say most will be sweeping. Yeah. Maybe we should say some, because to say
okay, some of them. Some of them.
Yes.
And because they cannot provide the services they are hired or employed, they resort to things like sorting. I am a true experience of this kind of. I've seen them physically. There are places they sit in town, and this sorting is carried out. And at the end of the day, the system suffers because most of the graduates that we produce in our universities, to be very frank, they are unemployable. During my NYSC days, I served in Akwa Ibom. In fact, I was like a demigod to most of these graduates. Just writing an acceptance letter in your place of primary assignment, most of the graduates couldn't do it. So this is what we are experiencing. Well, my joy is thank you for speaking the truth to the system. If those who are in charge wants to take a correction from this, please they'll do. Thank you very much. That's my submission.
We appreciate you. Thank you, Orahi Theophilus, for calling.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, you have an admirer there, Dr. Boy.
Yeah.
He is of the system, so
he knew exactly what he's going through.
You people should know. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
Thank you. I'm calling from North Bank.
Okay, what's the name?
My name is Godwin.
Sorry, your name is not coming out clearly. Maybe the network seems to be breaking. Could you change your position?
Godwin.
Godwin who?
Hello?
Hello, yeah, Godwin. Would like to know your full name, please.
Okay, Godwin Imaiku.
Godwin Imanche.
Imaiku.
Yes. Okay, Imaiku or Imanche?
Imaiku.
Imaiku. Go ahead, Godwin. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. In fact, it's been like this is so guys are like a dream come true to me, because this has been one of the problems affecting the educational system, especially in the higher level. This issue of sorting that they talked about, it has been like the cankerworm that has been deeply to the fabric of the educational system. Like personally, as I'm talking to you now, it's part of the experience I had. During my time in university.
Godwin, could you project your voice a little more, speak a little more louder, please?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me now?
Very well.
Okay, sir. So, actually, just like the discussion talks about at the PhD level, some people who merit having a particular grade are being denied. And those that do not, based on their political affairs and their position, they go to get it. I suffered the same thing. Like about 2 years ago, I know so many people, even my classmates, then would tell me boldly that I should go to a particular person for something. And they were doing it. But up today, I did not, because I know that education is not about the certificate, but it's about what you can offer to the society.
Yes.
people are complaining there is no job. There are numerous opportunities, but most of those that are going for those jobs are not qualified to fit in because the means and the procedure they got this qualification were not legitimate. So I thank God because today, at least, even without the certificate, I still have something to offer, and God has been helping me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Godwin. We appreciate you
Thank you.
for calling in. Okay, yeah, of the emphasis on certificates, we should move away from paper qualification to
Yeah.
what we can offer. When we get back, we'll be looking at more aspects in terms of curriculum that the needs for it to be skills driven. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Tejide Coleman. I'm calling from OGRE.
Okay, thank you, Tehide, for joining us.
Yeah, I'm so happy about this topic today about education. So I'll be happy because I don't want to waste time. I'll talk about my village in my Oshumu local government. So can you hear me?
Yes, you are on, Tehide.
Yeah, because in my village at Oshumu local government, I'm from Bagba. So we have only one primary school, NKST primary school, way. So in that school, since 2022, we had only just two government teachers in that very school. So it's very unfortunate. Let me just how would I don't know how to put it, but listen to me. The population we had in that school was very crowded, and because of the lack of teachers, people started bringing their children back to private schools. Now, maybe if you go there now this year, because now that I'm in Makodi, I don't know whether they will up to 10 people. So my perspective is my opinion is this: I want our government to add to employ more teachers. I'm talking about primary school. I want them to employ more teachers and to make sure we have free education in our primary school so that our government school should boost again because it's going down, down, down. And all these primary schools, private schools, they are taking over everything. So we have to control, take control of our system because our government schools should not go down and collapse. That's my opinion. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Tehide. We appreciate you for calling.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right.
Government should recruit more teachers, especially for primary schools. Tehide pointed out his community would believe the authorities should get something done in that direction. Hello, good morning. Hello. Good morning. Okay, you're on, but your voice is not coming through, and quite unfortunate. The line is still available to phone in on the program is 0814-335-9292, 0814-335-9292. If you're unable to connect that line, simply send us an SMS to 0912-699-9404. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Perspectives.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Nathaniel Nongo, and your guest in the house.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brother Emeka Oji, calling from Quarter.
Okay, good to have you join us, Brother Emeka Oji.
So the issue of education in Nigeria, just like the discussant has pointed out, is very worrisome because right from this hanky-panky, let me use that word, our educational system has gone down even to the primary school level. I could remember when I was in one school, I won't mention the name, parents used to go behind, bribe teachers. They will employ the teachers as a homeschooling sort of teachers. And at the end of the day, the teachers will give them the expose the exam question to the pupils. And then down in the secondary schools, especially with these private secondary schools now, the owners of those schools, as a teacher there, they will encourage you to assist the student to cheat. I witnessed that when I was teaching in one school. I could remember what the proprietor came and challenged me. That, how come everybody's failing your course? You should do something. That doing something means allow them to cheat, which I refuse to do. So, right from our primary school, this issue of paper qualification, because at the end of the day, during a prize giving day, oh, my daughter came first, my son came first. Most of those people coming first, they might not be the actual people who are supposed to come first. So this thing has carried on from that level, primary, secondary, to the tertiary institution, and they have gotten there. And we can see the damage to the society, the quality of the policy makers we are having. Sometimes when these policies are churned out, you begin to wonder, this person with title before his name, how come he's coming up with such policies? So things need to change, just like the discussants have pointed out. And all of us, right from the parents, the teachers, the political class, everybody should join hands together, because without properly trained manpower in our country, we have no thing to show for it in the community of the nation. So, thank you.
Emeka Oje, thank you. We appreciate you for calling in. Okay, so, well, it's quite just strange to hear that examination malpractice is encouraged even at that basic level.
It is.
But,
It's happening.
oh, really? Really strange
It's
to hear.
unfortunate.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
I'm very happy as I'm hearing from you people.
Thank you. We're happy to.
You know that the person that's in the studio, we speak 100%.
Yes, let's know your
What?
name, where you are calling from. Then you
Oh,
go
I
ahead.
am very sorry. My name, Yahweh John. Over there.
Okay, Yahweh John,
Yahweh John.
where are you
Yes.
calling from?
I'm speaking right now at Decker's Side.
Okay, go ahead, John.
According to what I am hearing concerning about education, they are just only for the theory. And in terms of the theory that they say that they are learning, at the end they are failing, but they are getting good result. That is certificate. So the time when I was in Akwa Ibom, I was schooling there. So one of our lecturers said that it's not the matter of the theory or writing on the board or in the paper whatsoever, but the practical. So why he spoke of all those things, we are thinking that the man, he didn't know what he's saying until when we finish. And I do as computer science when I was in school. I continue moving every step by every step. They say it's not the matter of speaking, but to touch the hard wire and let the thing come out.
Mhm.
It took me the whole year. I said, how I'm going to do with this fine result. So the only thing, I go back, I bring myself down to a business place, I learn it. So right now, as I'm speaking, I want to encourage all the students that in school. It's not the matter of saying that you are going to school, but know what you are doing. That
Okay.
is why I say that a person that is in the studio is 100%.
Okay.
It's not the matter. Okay, so I'm getting you.
Yes. Thank you. Conclude now. Hello, John.
Hello.
Yeah, conclude your thoughts. Just go ahead and conclude, John.
I already, my credit is down. So
Okay, John, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Sorry that your airtime is down, but you kept talking. Hello, good morning. Hello. Good morning.
No, good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
Yes. My name is Peter Tila. I'm calling from IDB Square.
Okay, good to have you join us.
Here in
Peter.
my body, Benue State. We thank God, sir.
Yes.
I want to appreciate your guest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you so much for this topic.
Thank you, Peter.
Education, as you rightly call. The foundation have to start from the primary school. You know the big problem now we have is a very big challenge. The issue of reading. There is that culture of reading. It's very difficult to see our children these days read. Me too, I'm a teacher, but when you ask them, they say, we don't have libraries. And when you go around, you discover that it's very true. You know that most of our primary schools and even secondary schools don't have visiting libraries. They don't even know what is called library. When you go there, even if they show you, they are in a deplorable state. So they don't know how to utilize the resources that are being kept there for them to read, explore, or make research. And then also teachers to use them to add value to learning and teaching. That is also one of the problems. Another one is the advent of the social media. You will be teaching students, but their attention is based on what they saw on the social media, their handsets, their phones. You teach them, you make noise. At the end of the day, ask them questions. All of them, they will not know. But when you ask them about the world, the social media and this thing, they can give you to the fullness. So it has to start with parents. Parents, you must watch your world, your children. When you put them to school, when they come back, check their notebook. And when you go to the tertiary one, that is where it's disastrous. You look at our children, our brothers and sisters who are there, all manner of ways. People are attending lectures with earrings, with dada, with their cell phones, going to party. No time to read books, no time to explore the library. Is it magic that you pass or know the course you're studying? No wonder you will meet graduates. They don't know how to write application letter. Somebody with 2-1 cannot even describe what is an abstract. So as your guests were analyzing it, I was just nodding my head. The reality is that we must face the reality to come back to the drawing board. As students, do everything humanly possible within 4 years, 10 years of your course. Face your academic work. Face your academic work.
Okay.
After that, then you go out and then you begin to do whatever you think you want to do in life.
Thank you,
And
Peter.
parents, you must strictly supervise, and teachers, do your best.
Thank
They
you,
are,
Peter.
they are the future leaders. Don't harass them sexually or anything of immorality. Discipline them.
Thank
they are
you.
also your children.
Thank
That
you,
is my
Peter.
contribution.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We
Thank
appreciate
you
you for
very
calling
much.
in. Thanks for your contribution. Oh, okay. When some Peter said we should go back to the drawing board. Somebody remarked that drawing board that we're always going
Back to
I'm wondering if you just sit there for
it's just a
go back.
reflection.
Yes. Hello, good
reflection.
morning.
Hello. Good morning, Mr. Nat, and the great studio of the year, and guest of the year in the studio.
Thank you.
Oh, you've given him guest of the year already.
Honestly, sir, this is the voice of Ado Bartolome from Bachoho in Gwe West.
Okay, Ado Bartolome, thank
All
you.
that we will be saying will be a repetition of what he has said. For me, I lack words, and biblically, I am to say that those who have ears should hear. Notwithstanding, I have a little submission regarding the educational system of Nigeria. One, owners of this school, let me start with private schools. Make sure you take your teachers to be the topmost priority of what you are doing. They have taken education as a business now, accepted. But why running this business of yours? Run it with caution, with the fear of God. At the end of the month, teachers are not paid. What they have been promised to receive, they don't give them. These teachers will be demoralized. Could we imagine? I could recall a primary school teacher telling the student Anyamka Zebra. When asked, he told them Keruna Haya in a dialect, meaning nothing has been done regarding his welfare. Therefore, he cannot give anything to the student. So it is a passionate appeal. Who is to be blamed in this issue of education? It's a collective effort. All hands must put on deck for us to curtail this problem. Parental responsibility. Parents should also not dictate any career for their wards or children. Rather, you guide them on what to do. You guide them. Don't dictate any career for your child. You guide them. I want to thank the guests in the studio so much. We are impressed. We are proud of you. Congratulations in advance.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bartholomew, we appreciate you for calling in and lending your voice. You have had an award of Guest of the Year.
I'm telling
When are you convening celebration for that award?
Good morning, Mr. Nax.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us for Perspectives.
Thank you, sir. Regards to the guests in the studio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
I'm Oku Moses calling from North Bank, Makodi.
Oh, good to have you join us, Oku Moses.
Thank you, sir. My take is Nigeria can still be greater again if only mathematics and English is not made compulsory. First, they make mathematics and English compulsory in every course you are applying for. And they don't even think about how a student is get through in mathematics and this English. They can do everything to make sure they score mathematics and English. And then, how do you think the issue of exam malpractice is not done? They go everywhere, go look and cranny of everywhere to see how they can score and they can credit mathematics and English, forgetting that these children are undergoing exam malpractices. And then, if Nigeria can forget about paper and think about our capability, Nigeria can still be greater again. See, somebody can just go ahead and score everything. They don't even think of, this thing, what are they doing? How did this person? They don't even question. They just go ahead and give admission into university. So what they did in secondary school or in SSCE, that's the same thing they would do and get through in universities or whatever tertiary institution. So my take is Nigeria should just think about our capability, what we can do, our brain, and though there's no way they can forget about certificate completely, but they should think of what we can do with our brain. Thank you. That is my take.
Thank you very much for your take, Moses Oku. Thank you. Moses, it seems you are in traffic, so we had a lot of noise, but all the same, we appreciate you for your opinion. Good morning. Hello.
Mr. Nathaniel. This is Magdalene calling you from UK.
Okay, Magdalene, good to have you join us.
Yes.
Happy New Year to you.
Same to you, same to you.
Thank you.
Maybe you have to wake up this woman to call on this program because most times it is we that are affected. Because the fathers are not always at home. You are the one to be with these children at home with their homework and everything that has to do with the child. You know, I am thinking that the foundation of a child is what makes him to become what he will be in future. If he has a very bad foundation, a very poor background, he would not so excel. So I am on the opinion that children, parents, women, mothers should take the foundation of their kids very seriously, because if they are grounded very well in their primary school and secondary school, it will be an express for them in the university. But trust me, if their foundation is poor from primary and secondary school, then a lot of work needs to be done. That is why they follow it even at their PhD or whatever. I don't know if you are getting the point.
Yes,
but truth
I am.
be told, that the foundation of every child matters, and it is most important because that is the road to success. You cannot have a good foundation and not excel. No matter the matter, you will excel. So I'm on the opinion that parents should take the foundation of their children very seriously, so that they will not be doing cut and join, even in the universities, and not being lecturers and not knowing what to deliver, or depending as students, or depending on exam and practices and all that. Thank you.
Magdalene, thank you very much for calling in. Parents should give a foundation to their children at the basic level of education so as to give them better
Good
fortune.
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Nathaniel.
Thank
Good
you.
morning to your guests in the house.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Raymond Chiangi.
Raymond Chiangi.
I'm calling from Ajay Kokokulusa Boye Road, Magodi.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to appreciate your guests in the house.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, sir.
Thank you.
I don't want to jump into issues, but I want you to just give us an explanation concerning the background of education so that people will know that really what you're saying is true and they will follow suit to understand how to train their children from the primary school to university level. Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
Raymond.
Sir?
Background with regards to, we seem not to get your question straightforward.
Regards to concerning foundation of education in a child.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very
much.
much.
Thank you, Raymond. Yeah, we'll address that.
We'll address that.
Maybe he is building on the submission by Magdalene.
Yes, foundation.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll look into that. We are here for you to discuss all of that. Hello, good morning. Hello. Good morning.
I greet you.
We greet you too.
You know, I've been listening to the guests in the studio.
Yes.
Fantastic. These things are not new. They are just clear in the air. Everybody is aware that in a nation where there is so much corruption, from the household, even in everything you think about in Nigeria, corruption, you know, Obasanjo knows it very well. That is why when he became a leader the second time, he was the one that set up EFCC and set up SCPC. But unfortunately, even these institutions, sometimes we hear the humongous forms of corruption that is in their hands.
Hello. I am yet to know your name, and you have veered off
I thought you know my voice already. This is Dambao. Can I call this? Maybe you didn't hear me. I'm calling from high level. So
okay. I interact with many persons here, so sometimes I don't get to know voices with names.
You know my voice very well. I appreciate you. I know your own, so I'm sure you know my own.
Okay,
so
let me start learning to know yours too.
I'm begging us in this country that if we want to go anywhere, there is this story that I keep telling some people. You know, when we went and fought apartheid in South Africa, the developed countries, I suspect, saw Nigeria coming up in a very powerful manner. And you know that is where we started, going to our refineries and construction that will continue to break down our system. I'm sorry to accuse anybody, but the truth of the matter is that if we do not reflect, China is just about 75 years old, and see what they are doing. The other day I was telling somebody that anytime America is dreaming China, because they can see that people are rushing, people watch CGTN, every day people are running to China from America to go and, because the environment is becoming more conducive. You don't play nonsense. The security people are there to snatch you from the bottom, make you bored. The America is really crying at people, slamming cars into people who are just trying to celebrate New Year. All kinds of stories of what you call madness. So please, let our people know that we are living a culture that you cannot escape it, because these children that you are doing, they are the ones who become Yahoo. Make life unbearable for you. They are, so try your own small corner. Tell my child, my son, this thing is not correct. I won't take it to this. If the child says, Baba, you will not say no. That's what I'm going to pay. You remember there was one man in this country.
We should conclude now, Baka. Thank you very much.
I tried to bomb an aircraft in America. He had reported before.
Thank
he was
you.
the chairman of First Bank. People are not reporting their own children, rather defending them in corruption. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you for calling in. Let's take some messages from our live stream feed before we come back. We'll begin here. This one says, Abu Eric Msute says, you are right, doctor. I think he's agreeing with your submissions. Thank you, Abu, for your comment. Now, Michael Gardi, he says, good morning, attorney and guests in the studio. What an interesting topic, education, and well dealt with by the guests. Well, I would like to respectfully dispute with the discussant on the emphasis on buildings. In tertiary institutions, a recreational In tertiary institutions, recreational facilities, large land space are not really necessary. If it must be, then why the satellite campuses? You can have some story buildings as lecture halls, story buildings as administrative blocks, a story building for students hostel, a story building complex that contains libraries, laboratories, and the other needed facilities. A large scale of land is not necessary. Regards, Michael Gadi from Gadi Layout, Makudi Bokorodo. Okay, Michael, thank you for your comments and your opinion. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Nathaniel Nongu.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
Yeah, you're welcome. My regards to the guests in the studio.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I want to say that
yes,
corruption...
May we know your name?
Okay. My name is Justin Umile. I'm calling from behind Augustinian Institute. National sector starts from the family as an agent of socialization. There is a lot of rot at the family level. Parents are no longer bringing up their children with the right moral conduct. As exam malpractice is being aided at this level. Then number two, at the primary school level now, I recall very well in those days, the teachers used to be respected because they knew their onions. They were giving out their best. And we used to have area inspectorate office that usually go around to make sure that these teachers are living up to expectation, both at the primary and secondary school level. But nowadays, you will discover that I don't know the last time I've heard about area inspectorate office going to a school to go and inspect what is happening there. And even if they must visit such schools, what they do is they will inform the school that, look, we are coming, and before you know what is happening, the teachers will package some things, yams and all of that. Once they come, they will carry and they go. They will take these things and go, and they will not do what they are expected to do. Then the third issue is those of politicians. The politicians have a deliberate plan to purposely ground the public sector of our education by not doing what they are expected in terms of supervision and in terms of funding. In fact, the latest plan now is to grant the tertiary institutions because not much attention is being given to tertiary education as it ought to be. So these issues is multifaceted. But these are as far as I'm concerned, these are the key issues that are causing the fall of education. While in the university, some lecturers will come to class, they will tell you that, look, we are not supposed to teach. We are only supposed to guide you. So they don't teach, they come, they roll out the course outline, and at the end of the day, they leave the class and they never come back till when it is time for them to give out assignments or tests or exams, you see them coming back. So I am appealing that all the stakeholders, from the parents, the government, at all levels, let hands be on deck. Let all hands be on deck.
Okay.
So that we are going to take back the pride place of public institutions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Justin. We appreciate you for calling in. Okay, let's stay temporary on the course for now. I'll come back to the studio. Dr. Boa,
yes.
We'll begin by addressing the concern raised by Raymond Chiangi. Raymond wants to know, you listen to him, how a child's background should be built solidly, beginning at the basic level for education. You are a specialist, so just speak about that briefly before we dive into other issues.
Quickly, I appreciate Raymond for raising that issue. The background or the training background of learners in education already has been established. That is why we have what is known as the curriculum.
Yes.
The curriculum that is the most important and crucial document, policy document, spelled out clearly what and what and what, step by step, moment by moment, level by level, what is supposed to be bequeathed on the learners right from day one. So we are all in the picture that parents are the primary teachers of their children. So I want to say that the education of our children begins at home, where parents are the primary number one teachers. But it now moves to the school, where the school now becomes a surrogate teacher. When you say surrogate, it means then that they are not biological, parents of these children, but they stand in for biological parents in terms of teaching and instructing the learners to actually acquire the knowledge, skills, and attitude they're supposed to acquire in the absence of their biological parents. So the background of education begins from the home, then moves to the school. And I want to say that both the home and the school plays their role on daily basis at every level of the child's education, up to the point that the child becomes qualified, ready to go to the labor market and give them to the next generation. So the curriculum that we use in educating our learners is the document, a policy document that is meant to be followed logically, sequentially, to train learners, that is our children, from the beginning to the end of their education at whatever level of education. So that is the way to go.
Okay, so Raymond, I believe you have gotten at least some basic explanation there. Okay, now, Dr. Boa, in terms of, but just a moment. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, this is Moses Shimaye.
Moses Shimaye.
Yes, I'm calling from Balom.
Okay, thank you. Balom, that's in Gwe East local government, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Go ahead, Moses.
I want to thank you for the topic.
Thank you very much.
This issue of education, to a large extent, I can attribute it to the love of money. But all the sectors are spoiled and are corrupt as a result of the love of money. People love too much money. And the reason why there is a fall, in those days when you are schooling in such a way that when you graduate, you will be a rebel. You are schooling in such a way that you will never for your country. But now people school so that they will get money. So they don't bother about what they are going to do. They bother about what they are going to get after the school, which is money. So they get all the means possible to have a certificate so that they can be getting money instead of laboring for our country. So the system now becomes corrupt. And it is very difficult to reverse it. But the only thing we can do is prayer. We need to kneel down and pray to God so that people's minds will be rebuilt. And then from there, we will now begin to talk about.
Hello, Moses? Hello? Okay, Moses, your point is noted. You are on, but your voice is not coming through anymore. Maybe the network balance seems not to be too friendly, but your point is noted. Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year to you.
Achimi, you are God for people go to.
Achimi, good to have you join us.
Thank you very much. And the chicken and everything, they have.
Achimi, we have gone past the time for that. Yes.
Okay. So education, as you have been saying, first of all, let me give thanks to Almighty God. And I want to give thanks to Reverend Father Isaac Amia for what he is doing concerning the education sector in Benue State. What he is doing, if he continues, I think Benue State and Nigeria will be paradise in the kind of education. So I want you to keep the gesture moving. And the problem I'm having with the boys here, these boys and ladies, they don't want to learn. That is to be gallivanting from one street to another street, looking for what they will take in to better their own life in a very negative tendency. So education did not pass. They didn't pass through education. Education just passed through them. They didn't settle down to read. Some of them they say they'll go and Google from computer when it's the time of exam. They'll go and do that. Forgetting the normal reading that we did in the olden days. That one, they're talking about those ones. They say, no, that one, how could that one? No. So, me, I have seen that if education is to be reformed, let our youth shine up. Let's wake up from their slumber and from their weaker vessels. Let them begin to read very well. Read novels. Read so many books that will impact in their knowledge. Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you too, Achimi. Thank you for calling in. And I think that will be the last call we'll accommodate on today's edition because we need to address some issues and get to concluding points. Dr. Boa,
yes.
Before I took that call, I wanted you to speak to us on what strategies can be employed to address the out-of-school population of children in Nigeria, including Benue State. You are aware of thousands of people who are displaced in our communities, including children confined to internally displaced persons camps. What can we do to address their education needs?
Thank you very much. As we all know, education is a public good. Education is a public good. And that is to say that it is meant for everybody and for the good of everybody. And constitutionally too, education is a right. Yeah, it's a fundamental right as citizens to be educated. And the government is supposed to provide education to her citizenry. So this is very clear and it's constitutional. I also want to say that by declaration too, education for all, EFA, that declaration was made so clear that education is made for all and sundry. And so it is not we're not expecting, children to be dropouts or to be roaming about or to be out of school insofar as this policy or this declaration is concerned. And so if today we have children out of school or children drop out, roaming about the streets, not going to school and not whatnot, it is the responsibility of government and other stakeholders to do something about it. And what are the strategies? Number one, let there be enforcement of the law that stipulate the right, that emphasize the right of children to go to school when they are of school age. Let there be enforcement. That's number one strategy. Number two, government and other stakeholders too should provide education at the doorstep of these persons who are displaced. What am I saying? We have what is called education in emergencies. Education in emergencies. Or education in the emergent settings. What do we mean by that? Government now may decide, or will have to decide now, to go to these IDP centers and then establish some centers or schools for the benefit of those who are in the IDP centers. The children who are at the IDP centers now will be attending the school established by government in that place to attend to the needs of those children of school age. It is done elsewhere, and I feel that if it is done also in Benue State, it will benefit children who are out of school just because they have been displaced and they are in IDP centers. They will have opportunity to go to school. I remember very well that some individuals, some stakeholders have started making some, moves to help in that direction. I remember there is one NGO that has to do with TIFF speaking something. They have established some center in some of these places to teach literacy, TIFF, literacy in TIFF language and English language. They are doing that currently. And I also remember that SUBEB too, in that direction. They started working towards seeing how they can, accommodate children who are out of school or who are dropped out and are roaming about the streets and are in some of these IDPs and all that. So that is the number two strategy of establishing schools or centers of learning in the IDPs so as to accommodate the students who are roaming about, who are out of school just because their parents have been displaced, so they enable them go to school. When that is done, that will be taken care of. And number 3 strategy is that government should also encourage, and other stakeholders should also encourage by way of scholarship, to encourage the students on all these pupils who are dropped out or who are roaming or who are out of school, sometimes just because of some little stipend that their parents are supposed to pay for 1 or 2 things or subscribe for 1 or 2 things in their places of learning and all what are they unable to make up. And so these pupils are now at home or roaming about. By way of scholarship, some of these students or some of these pupils will be accommodated. And then the issue of, dropout or out of school will completely be eliminated, as the case may be. I want to appreciate the Bishop of Kali Diocese of Makurdi and that of Boko and Katsina-Ala for taking a bold step in this direction. I know very well Bishop Anagbe, Wilfred Anagbe, has taken up the challenge of giving scholarship to some of these IDP pupils who are out of school, who have the opportunity to go to school because of the condition of their parents. They are now in some of the Kali schools, schooling free of charge. The same thing with the Bishop of Boko Diocese of Avenia, the same thing with Bishop of Katsina-Ala, Bishop Dugu. This I know very well. I've seen it. I know what. And some other stakeholders who in the same direction, they have been happy. I think some of these strategies we put in place will reduce drastically the level of out-of-school pupils, those of school age, go to school, as the case may be.
Very well. Now, when we're talking about emphasis on paper qualification in Nigeria, there is an aspect of it which we will now look at now.
Yeah.
To what extent can government promote vocational and technical education?
Not only I want to appreciate you for raising that issue, and I want to appreciate the federal government for making a pronouncement last year, and we're hoping that key subjects that must be taught to all students in schools. That at the point of graduation, you must have specialized in 2 skills that even if you do not go further in your education, you will use them now to earn a living and live comfortably. The pronouncement declaration has been done, the pronouncement has been done, and the implementation was to commence this January. It's on air, it's on papers and everywhere. So we're believing that if government will work on his words and his pronouncement, and this is enforced, the issue of certificate will reduce. The issue of unemployability will reduce. Our children at the point of graduation should be able to exhibit, able to put into use at least 2 skills, and that will help them earn a living, and our society will grow, and there will be creativity and innovation in our country, and we will advance, as the case may be.
In this direction, would you say polytechnics, which by curriculum orientation seem to be technically oriented, are they living up to expectation?
Yes, I want to say that to a large extent, polytechnics are doing their best, but they need to do more, most especially in regards to their mandate. Yes, we know polytechnics to have the mandate of technical, training or vocational training, as the case may be, and they specialize in those areas, and they are meant to train the labor force in that area, and even their institutional mandate is in that area. So I want to say that we even need more technical colleges, and we need more polytechnics now than ever. And because what is happening now, with the current trend of artificial intelligence, advancing technology, that is going to take over a lot of administrative tasks and responsibilities, that robots will now be used to do a lot of tasks and all whatnot. The only aspect, the only area that the human person or the individuals or as citizens will rely on to earn a living, do well, and eat, and have something to do to earn a living is in the area of vocational and technical education or training, where in some of these areas, robots can not for now take over, but we need human beings to do the needful, as the case may be. And then with such skills, you'll be able to do one or two things for one or two persons to earn a living. So we want to encourage technical schools and the polytechnics to come on board, powerfully by executing the mandate of their creation, as the case may be.
We really do not have time anymore, so I would just invite you to give your concluding words. Looking into this year 2025, the key areas, maybe by way of summary, the government should look into for the education policy, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah, actually, there are so many areas that I would like the government to look at, but I'll just mention a few.
Yes.
Number one, last year, there was an exercise that was bordered on recruitment of teachers at the basic level of education, primary school. Remember, one of our callers mentioned the issue of lack of teachers in some of the schools in the villages. No, he specifically mentioned his village in Oshongo local government.
Yes.
So I want to say that it's not only Oshongo local government, it's all over. So I want to challenge the government and encourage the government and urge the government to go ahead and complete the process of recruitment of qualified primary school teachers. And they should recruit them in numbers adequately so as to attend to the needs of teachers at the primary school level. Number two, parents, government, and other stakeholders should make it a point of duty to lay a solid foundation for our learners or our children. Parents, let us play our part by encouraging our children at home, assisting them where we need to assist them, and providing for them what we need to provide for them as parents. And then for teachers who are surrogate parents and who have the responsibility or the mandate to train these children when they are no longer with their parents at home, let us do that which we are called or employed or engaged to do. Let us play our role effectively as teachers. The role of teaching, the role of instruction, the role of even discipline, and all that. Let us do it. Let us administratively play our role. Let us also use our instructional strategies that are appropriate to give out our best to the learners. At the end of the day, you see that they will come in now very powerfully, our society will grow, and we'll be happy that we have done our best. And I want to say finally that education should be properly funded. Let there be proper funding of education. I ask our government, our governor, he's trying, but let him also try more by funding education properly. Let the universities in Benue State be funded properly. Let secondary schools in Benue State be funded properly and primary school be funded properly. Let there be facilities made available. Let teachers be paid their due and on time, as the current government is trying. Let the government even do more. At the end of the day, we'll be happy that we have a very nice government in power, administration in power, and we'll have people who are ready to enjoy the fruits of their labor in Benue State, not just in Benue State, in Nigeria. And we're very, very happy that we have a government who listens and who takes care of the welfare of the people, and stakeholders are ready to put in their best for the good of society. At the end of the day, you see that we'll be happy. And I want to say finally, schools, we have resumed today.
Yes.
Ordinarily, all schools are supposed to resume today, but I've discovered that so many schools are resuming next week. It's against the stipulated policy. And that's why the regulatory bodies like quality assurance will go out and begin to check on some of these things. The essence of educational policies is for unification, oneness, direction. When we are unable to resume on time, already the calendar for that academic term is thwarted, is tampered with. There are primary things that are needed to be done at the first week of resumption. Are you going to shift to the second week that we need to take care of some other aspect of the school, the process? This is the question. And these are some of the issues that sometimes will lead to, some of these compromises here and there, and we're able to give our best to the learners. And we have some issues of deformity here and there. So thank you very much, listener, and I wish you the best for the year 2025.
Dr. Felix Bois is a senior lecturer in the Department of Educational Foundations at the Benue State University, Makurdi. He joined us here on today's edition of Perspectives and shared thoughts with us on setting agenda for the education sector in the year 2025. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Boa, for your valuable time and the insights you have offered.
Thank you very much, Nathaniel, and our listener.
Dear listener, that's our program today. Join us Wednesday for a fresh edition. My name is Nathaniel Nongo. Have yourself a great week ahead. Goodbye.